Hello, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. The heat is being turned up on the U.S. Mint's disappointing, concerning inaction on counterfeit precious metals. This article comes to us thanks to Coins A to Z for bringing it to the attention of something that is sorely lacking as far as the United States Mint in the Silver and Gold Eagle program and any of the bullion programs concerning precious metals that the United States Mint has been a part of. There's essentially been no progress in terms of anti-counterfeiting since the program's inception in 1986. And this article here discusses that we have a Congressman, Alex Mooney, has criticized the United States Mint for its disappointing and concerning lack of awareness or action in the growing problem of high-quality counterfeits of U.S. precious metals coins entering the country from China and elsewhere. In a later dated March 6th, Representative Mooney took the U.S. Mint to task on his perfunctory one-page response to a prior letter that I had mentioned in a previous video that he and Congressman Frank Lucas sent last October, asking for information as to whether and to what extent the U.S. Mint had taken proactive steps to protect the integrity of America's minted coins, including reviewing and implementing the anti-counterfeiting measures already put in place by certain foreign governments and private mints. The U.S. Mint's response, dated November 17, 2017, seemed to suggest a belief that the problem was not significant, wrote Mooney in his March 6 letter. However, the U.S. Secret Service has since briefed my office about the extent of this activity and its frustration with a lack of supportive actions by other agencies, including the U.S. Mint. The matter of counterfeits has been repeatedly raised as a serious issue in the coins industry press. As your team is aware, there have been anti-counterfeiting technologies on the market for some time, and many of these technologies have already been adopted by some of your competitors, and continued Representative Mooney. Mooney also mentioned one of these technologies called Veriscan and relayed the interesting offer by U.S.-based Manfra, Tordella, and Brookers, which currently provides the blanks for the U.S. Mint's Palladium Eagle coins, to arrange the incorporation of the anti-counterfeiting technology on the next issuance of U.S. Mint's Palladium coins without charge, as well as back-authenticate already issued U.S. Mint coins. And that's interesting and fascinating, provided the dies and production samples are available. As a member of the House Financial Services Subcommittee, which oversees the U.S. Mint, Congressman Mooney has been leading a congressional inquiry into the counterfeiting problem, seeking information from federal agencies about the nature and quantity of complaints and resulting investigations regarding counterfeit U.S. gold, silver, and platinum coins, and what anti-counterfeiting programs, if any, are in place to protect the integrity of U.S. coins minted specifically for gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. We recommend Representative Mooney for his ongoing action in defending sound money and for helping Congress exercise its oversight duties in accordance with Article 1, Section 8, Clause 5 of the U.S. Constitution, said Stephen Gleason, director of the Sound Money Defense League. It's vital the U.S. Mint stop sitting on the sidelines and provide support to the U.S. Secret Service as well as precious metals industry in tackling the problem of counterfeit precious metal coins. Unfortunately, there is clearly a lackadaisical attitude at the U.S. Mint towards protecting the only constitutional currency that is currently even produced by the federal government, continued Gleason. Full copy of Representative Mooney's March 6 letter can be found here. His original letter is found here, and the U.S. Mint's response is found there. And I'll post a link to this article in the description, and you can explore this further. However, I think part of the reason why there's not much action going on with that is because of the other side of the legislative body. It's the Senate. The Senate has put a hold on a leader for the United States Mint, and this guy, at least from what I'm understanding, could be the guy, David Ryder, who will could implement these technologies very quickly. And so there may be a purpose for the Mint's response, kind of putting it off because they don't want to wait for this position to be filled. But this article from Coin World dates back to the beginning of the year. And David J. Ryder's nomination to become the 39th director of the United States Mint remains on the Senate's executive calendar, where it's waited for a vote by the full Senate since November 1st, after being voted unanimously out of the Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs that day. A temporary hold was placed on the nomination December 20th by Senator Rand Paul. That hold was eventually lifted. However, a notice of intent was entered by the executive calendar December 20th by Chuck Grassley of Iowa. Grassley's nomination objection, published in the Congressional Record, reads, "I intend to object to any unanimous consent request at the present time related to the nominations of David J. Ryder of New Jersey to be director of the Mint and Isabel Marie Patulanudas of Pennsylvania to be Assistant Secretary for Intelligence and Analysis, Department of Treasury. I will object because the Department of the Treasury has failed to respond to a letter I sent on September 29, 2017, to a bureau within the department seeking documents relevant to an ongoing investigation by the Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Despite several phone calls between committee staff and Treasury personnel to prioritize particular requests within that letter, the Treasury Department has to date failed to provide any documents. My objection is not intended to question the credentials of Mr. Ryder or Ms. Patulunas in any way. However, the department must recognize that it has an ongoing obligation to respond to congressional inquiries in a timely and reasonable manner." So it's a red tape, essentially. It's the minutiae of a bureaucracy that is preventing this nomination. Ryder's nomination and those of 100 other presidential nominees identified on this executive calendar must still go before the full Senate for a confirmation vote. If approved by the full Senate, Ryder's service would be a full 5-year term. Ryder would be serving his second stint as the chief executive of the U.S. Mint. Ryder served a 14-month period between 1993 and 94 as the 34th director under H.W. Bush. And so the portion of this is since 2007, Ryder has been a global business development manager for Honeywell Authentication Technologies and a manufacturer supplier of covert and forensic security features for the authentication of currency, of value documents and products. And so that is why I think he has a background in security and technology in this area. And I think that that is sorely needed. And it could be that the Mint is waiting for his leadership and his experience in order to implement these practices in the right way, rather than trying to move ahead with it before his arrival. And so that's my guess, and I think that's probably why we're not seeing it, and that may be part of the reason why the response was not satisfactory in the Congressman Mooney's exchanges between them. And there's not been a Mint director since 2011, which is disappointing. It's pretty fascinating to see how the Mint has been going along with these deputy directors holding in place. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, they've done okay. But really, we do need somebody in there. Ryder, who served as Deputy Chief of Staff to Vice President Dan Quayle before becoming Deputy Treasurer of the United States, was nominated by George W. Bush on July 25th, 1991, to succeed Donna Pope as Mint Director. And it's very interesting indeed. And we'll see how this works out. I think his background, David Ryder's background, and with security and technology, can prove valuable in moving the Eagle and Buffalo programs and into the next phase and of security features, and who knows, maybe even a redesign, a complete redesign in some cases, which I would not be against if we had a redesign of the Eagle program for the Silver Eagle and Gold Eagle. I think it's time that we change those, and long overdue in my opinion. And fresh new designs, still harkering back to the foundations of the country with the ideas of liberty, but something new and fresh, and that would also have very difficult features in the coins themselves that would make it very difficult to reproduce by counterfeiters. So post your thoughts below. Thanks again, Coins A to Z, for bringing this to my attention. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.